Good, happy Thursday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday evening, so let's begin. First up, we begin with breaking news. Tradition panel debates impeachment articles before expected vote. House Tradition Committee argued through a marathon session Thursday ahead of voting on articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump, the latest big step as the political split panel prepares to send the charges to the full House. Now let's take a look at video.
Landowners, it's time for special year-end savings from Mahindra, the world's number...
Mr. Jeffries?
No.
Mr. Jeffries votes no. Mr. Cicilline?
No.
Mr. Cicilline votes no. Mr. Swalwell?
No.
Mr. Swalwell votes no. Mr. Liu? Mr. Raskin? Mr. Raskin votes no. Ms. Jayapal? Ms. Jayapal votes no. Ms. Demings? Ms. Demings votes no. Mr. Correa?
As you can see, they are doing a vote right now. This is a live video from inside the panel area. If you want to see that, we will share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page, and you can read the full article as well. Man accused of killing his grandmother in Sandown waives arraignment. Patrick Irish charged with second-degree murder in case. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9.
Landowners, it's time for special year-end savings from Mahindra, the world's #1...
It's starting to sink in. State police are gone. Crime scene tape is down.
On the outside, there's no evidence of what happened at 48 Phillipswood Road in Sandown. In the neighborhood, though, people are having a tough time.
How somebody could kill an 88-year-old woman who is so kind, so loving, so involved in the community.
42-year-old Patrick Irish has been charged with second-degree murder. The Attorney General's office says he bludgeoned his 88-year-old grandmother, Aileen Irish, to death, and then called police early Wednesday morning.
I was devastated.
Underneath Darlene Jetty's Christmas tree is a box of cookies that Aileen bought for Darlene's husband, Roger. Jetty says she knew Aileen for years, working on her cars, and Aileen was a special lady.
She would do anything for anybody. And for an 88-year-old woman, she was always on the go, always doing something.
Usually for someone else. Jetty says one other aspect of Aileen, she never lost her love of learning, even at 88.
She wanted to learn how to use a tom-tom because she's never used one before. So I let her borrow mine.
Patrick Irish is scheduled to be arraigned at 1 o'clock this afternoon at Rockingham County Superior Court in Brentwood. Reporting live in Sandown, Ray Brewer, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Court weigh in. Did marathon bomber get a fair trial? Let's take a listen to this video from WCVB Boston.
We're back celebrating the holidays.
And our new Volvo showrooms in Nashua, Concord, and Meredith.
Right now at Lovering Volvo, your first payment is on us, in addition to saving up to $14,000 off select 2019 models.
Call or visit us today.
Antoinette, Doug, good morning to both of you. Right now, Jahar Tsarnaev is in a Supermax prison behind bars in Colorado.
He will not be here this morning. However, his lawyers are going to make the argument that he should be set free. Well, you, of course, know the story, 2013. Tsarnaev sentenced to death for the 2013 bombings, the marathon finish line. 8-year-old Martin Richard, Crystal Campbell, and Lu Lingzi were killed on that day. MIT police officer Sean Collier was shot and killed during the manhunt. And Boston police officer Dennis D.J. Simmons died of injuries after the shootout with the Tsarnaev brothers in Watertown. And here's what we know about today's appeal. The defense is claiming 15 errors were made during the trial. That includes not moving the proceedings out of Boston, where they say Tsarnaev could never get a fair jury pool. The prosecution argues there was no location that would include a jury who didn't know about the deadly attacks. The defense has 1 hour to make its case today, and that begins at 10:30 this morning. We're live in Boston. Josh Brigadier, WCVB, News Center 5.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Massachusetts State Trooper stabbed during traffic stop on I-495. Man shot in violent struggle, MA State Police say. Let's take a listen to this video.
We feel that if a customer wants their product and they're ambitious and they want to do it today, if we have it here in stock, we have the people, the trucking, and why put off till tomorrow what you can do today?
Visit us at powellstone.com.
But preliminary, beyond our understanding of the incident, is that the suspect is traveling on 495 South. He's approaching the breakdown lane, or the area where the work crew is set up. There was a work crew that was working on signage on Route 495. That crew was being protected by a trooper that was assigned there as a public safety detail. That trooper was parked in front of a large crash truck. The purpose of the crash trucks obviously are to provide an additional layer of protection for the work crews and for the public safety officials that are doing the enforcement actions within the work sites. At some point, the subject pulled into the breakdown lane, exited their vehicle, or his vehicle, came up the breakdown lane behind the crash truck, and came up to the driver's door of the cruiser. At that point, the trooper encountered the subject. At that point, the subject produced a knife. In response to that, the trooper struggled with the subject, was inflicted with, as I indicated, several cut or stab wounds on the left arm, and the trooper was forced to discharge his service weapon. And that is what caused the suspect to then fall to the ground. The trooper was transported subsequently to Lawrence General Hospital, and again, I just received and can share with you the good news that he's been released from Lawrence General Hospital.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that is good news that that trooper has been released from the hospital. Route 101 back open in Hampton after 7-car crash stretches over a quarter mile. Take a look at this photo. As you can see in this photo, the car hit the tractor trailer and all smashed up in this photo. Hampton firefighters responded to a multi-vehicle crash on Route 101 East at exit 12 on Thursday morning. According to fire officials, the crash scene stretched over a quarter mile. Officials said 7 vehicles were involved and 2 drivers were transported with injuries. Officials said that after an initial investigation, a tractor-trailer traveling east was struck from behind as traffic slowed. As a result of the collision, traffic congestion increased, contributing to a separate 5-vehicle collision near the initial crash. Police report this was a minor crash and no one was injured. The accident stalled traffic for over a quarter mile. Route 101 East was closed for approximately an hour, but is now back open. Elizabeth Warren delivers policy speech in New Hampshire about U.S. economy. Democratic presidential candidate hopeful Elizabeth Warren delivered a policy speech Thursday in New Hampshire about the American economy. Warren spoke at New Hampshire Institute of Politics at St. Anselm College. This story will be updated later. And there is a video. If you want to watch that video of her speech, we will share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. WMUR2 co-hosts Democratic presidential debate days before 2020 New Hampshire primary. WMUR TV, ABC News, Apple News, to host debate February 7th at St. Anselm College. The last Democratic primary debate to be held before the 2020 New Hampshire primary will be hosted by WMUR TV, ABC News, and Apple News. The debate will be held on February 7th, 2020 at St. Anselm College. The Democratic National Committee made the announcement Thursday. The debate will happen between the important early voting states of Iowa and New Hampshire. Our first-in-the-nation primary voting happens on February 11th, 2020. This will be the only Democratic debate in New Hampshire. The debate will air on WMUR across ABC, including the 14 Hertz television-owned ABC affiliates and Apple News. The DNC will release more information that will include the qualifying rules for the 2020 debate at a later time. Very cool indeed. We're all excited for the debate. And now let's take a look at that U.S. stock market and see how U.S. stock market closed for this Thursday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market for your Thursday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the green and went up. U.S. 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VX closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 jumps to record as U.S. and China get set to finalize Phase 1 of the trade deal. Stocks jumped on Thursday as sources tell CNBC a so-called Phase 1 trade deal between U.S. and China has been agreed to in principle. Pelosi says she won't try to persuade Democrats on impeachment vote. Let's take a listen to this video from ABC News.
The president is wrong. So, what can I say? We have put forth our articles of impeachment. I'm very proud of all the committees. 6 committees have been working on this for a very long time. This is nothing swift about it, but it is urgent. And so we will be bringing the articles. The committee will work on it today. As you know, I don't know if it's this morning or this afternoon. That depends on the pace in the committee. And then next week we'll take up something. This is a decision that was recommended by our working together with our committee chairs, our attorneys, and the rest. So the articles are what they are. They're very powerful. They're very strong. And they are a continuation of a pattern of misbehavior on the part of the president. People are realizing when they see what that was, they think, the public thinks, that they should be determining who the president of the United States is, not some foreign power. They think that no one is above the law. We think and say they that the president should be held accountable, abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. That is the form it will take. It's no use having a discussion here. This is a discussion we will take to the floor of the Senate.
Madam Speaker, what is your message to those moderate Democrats who are undecided and who are concerned that a vote for impeachment could backfire on them politically?
I have no message to them. We are not whipping this legislation, nor do we ever whip something like this. People have to come to their own conclusions. They've seen the facts as presented at in the Intelligence Committee. They've seen the Constitution as they know it. They take an oath to protect and defend it, but they see the constitutional experts speak about it. They'll make their own decisions. I don't say anything to them. This is a vote that people will have to come to their own conclusion on. And the facts are clear, irrefutable, in fact. And we've given the president every opportunity to demonstrate any exculpatory information he may have. But the fact is that we take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. We want to defend that Constitution, which has a republic in it. As Benjamin Franklin said, a republic if you can keep it. We see that as our responsibility to keep the republic instead of an attitude of Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. That's not what our founders had in mind. That's a president king. That's not what we're about here. So I'm not, it has nothing to do with my concern about votes. People will vote the way they vote.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night and bye, everyone.